Good morning, Husker fans, and welcome back to Coffee with Husker Big Red. This is episode 6, and we've got a lot of things to talk about today. The commitment of the five-star athlete, safety, defensive back, wide receiver, Tory Pittman. We've got the third week of fall camp kind of wrapping up here on Saturday. We've got the alumni game for volleyball, if you want to talk about that. Really anything that you want to talk about is on the table. Those are just some of the topics fresh in my mind. So yeah, we'll chat here for who knows, 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. So if you guys haven't already, please do us a huge favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, get into the comment section, especially if you're watching on the replay. And yeah, join into the chat. Let us know, what you're thinking about, what you want to discuss. Danny, how are you on this Saturday morning?
Good. I was thinking yesterday about what topics we should discuss for the show, and then Friday seemed to be the day of news, so we're in luck. Good morning, James.
Yeah, and we see James back again. Good morning, and thanks to everybody who, all our regular listeners like James and like Mitch. Everybody who listens to us on a fairly regular basis. If you're new to the show, thanks for giving us a chance. Hopefully, you'll hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular part of Coffee with Husker Big Red. We're going to be continuing these, every Saturday, and 2 Saturdays from now. I guess not 2 Saturdays from now. 3 Saturdays from now. We'll be getting ready for a game because we'll be playing our first game obviously on a Thursday. So we'll probably have a special one of these on that Thursday morning. So all right, let's get into it. Let's see. Mitch here with his comment. I think a big thing is Michigan's getting hammered and we can go after their commits. A certain tackle comes to mind. Are you meaning an offensive tackle? And
he said D tackle. So
oh, you're probably talking about you're thinking about Titan Davis.
Yeah.
Could be, but yeah, I mean, I honestly don't see anything changing with Michigan's recruiting class, Mitch. I have to say, I really, yeah, I don't see anything happening with the recruiting class because of this.
But I am glad that Sharon Moore is going to miss the Nebraska game, so that's good.
Yeah, I think that's a positive. Yeah, for Nebraska, I think that gives them a better chance of winning that game for sure. And yeah, I mean, because I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm not going to say anything is not possible, but honestly, I think there's a better chance that Michigan flips Danny Odom than Nebraska flips somebody from Michigan, just being honest. Because even though they have this big fine, they have Larry Ellison's one of their big boosters, and outside of Elon Musk, he's like one of the richest people in the world. He's literally the reason they got Bryce Underwood. So I mean, he could write a check for the $20 million himself if he wanted to. Plus, they're going to appeal.
That would be nice to just write a check for $20 million like that and not even think twice about it.
Well, no, the whole thing. If you don't know about Larry Ellison, he's the owner of Oracle or whatever. Anyways, his new wife or girlfriend, I don't know, whatever, she likes Michigan, and so she literally was like, I don't want Michigan to suck. They should have better she was like, they need a better quarterback situation than this. So she basically worked with Dave Portnoy to get Bryce Underwood because he's like, well, my wife wants some women want new clothes. Well, his wife wants a new quarterback and wants another national championship. So that's what she gets to spend the money on. So it's pretty nice for Michigan fans.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's going to be a fun game nonetheless. And I do think Nebraska has a legitimate chance of winning that game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who Michigan trots out there as the interim head coach. I honestly am not sure. Probably one of the coordinators, maybe Chip Lindsey, will be the guy. It could be Wink Martindale. I mean, it could be Biff Poggi too, who was the head coach at Charlotte. Before he was on the Michigan staff and came back. Could be any of those 3 guys. But I know that Chip Lindsey has head coach experience as well. I can't remember which school, but that it would be him. Would be my guess.
Speaking of Michigan guys, I get to see my pal JJ McCarthy take on the Patriots tonight, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that will be interesting. Yeah, Drake May, JJ McCarthy. That pay for play is over, right? You can only pay them going forward from the revenue or legit NIL deals. I mean, sort of. You can, but there's a lot of loopholes in that with the high school. I mean, a lot of states have NIL deals or NIL laws passed in their states so they can get paid as high school players. So that's what a lot of teams are doing. They're paying these guys on a monthly basis. They're paying them not to take visits to other places. They're so yeah, in Montana, for instance, they do have a law that allows that, and Michigan has a commitment in Montana who's ranked in the top 200. Like, he's a big time commit for Michigan. He's Matt Ludwig, who Nebraska was actually recruiting for a while. So I mean, my guess is that he's already getting paid by Michigan in whatever fashion that's going to happen. So they will get paid in that rev share part of it too. But that's
same
where a lot
Tory
of
Pittman, I'm guessing, probably.
Yeah, Nebraska's doing the same thing, like, no doubt. That's the way that they're getting around it. So even though, Mitch, so even though pay for play or whatever isn't there, it's still going to be there. Things are never going to change. And there's always going to be people that find a way around it. So until there's actually like a firm set of rules, like, it's just they're just going to keep finding different ways to pay kids. So, and then honestly, even if they do find different rules, they'll just go back to shoving money in McDonald's bags, like the SEC's been doing forever. So I mean, like, Ohio State's been doing forever. Like, I mean, it's just whatever. That's why they need to just get serious about it, like, at some point, and collectively bargain and make like a real set of rules, have a true set of enforcement, and actually like enforce the rules. Because that's what, like, this whole Michigan thing, like, beyond the whatever the Stallions, like, if you look at the recruiting stuff, like, it's ridiculous. One of, like, Denard Robinson, who got like a 3-year show cause penalty, basically what he's getting charged for is giving a kid a pair of sweatpants. A pair of sweatpants. And Jeremiah Smith for Ohio State sitting here, did my NIL check cash before I signed the deal? Like, he said that publicly. Texas is over here, like, that's just what's annoying about it. Like, if it's a penalty for one team, it should be a penalty for another. And it's just selective enforcement from the NCAA. That's why it's such a joke. I mean, so you need to actually have like true enforcement and a true set of rules, not like all this selective enforcement and it's not just Michigan. There's been other schools too that got dinged with really dumb crap. There was been another school that got I can't even remember who it was, maybe Georgia Tech or somebody, but it's just like minor stuff. And you've got Alabama, Ohio State, all these teams that are like clearly, obviously paying players under the table, and they've been doing it for years, and there's no punishment. So that's where, my biggest issue is with the NCAA is the selective enforcement.
Yeah, and it's like I've always said, the NCAA tries to implement something, but they don't implement it correctly, and I think that's what we're seeing here.
So yeah, I mean, and that's why, like, when you're talking about, there's still a lot of conversations with Nebraska, like, can they pay these SEC teams and compete with them in the NIL monies? And you have to get creative with it. So we'll see what happens. But in terms of Nebraska football recruiting, I mean, I think there's a lot to feel good about with Tory Pittman committing on Friday. There was a lot of expert projections with that, so it's not like it was like a massive surprise. I mean, maybe a little surprise on the timing because he pulled the trigger on the commitment so early. But a huge win for Nebraska. I said it numerous times, like, this is a must land. Nebraska has got to get him. You do not get many chances. I can't even remember the last 5 in Nebraska. So you can't let a player like that get out of your own backyard. Luckily they didn't. He cited the culture, kind of Matt Rule, and he thinks this team's going to win. So what are your thoughts on Tory Pittman? And anybody watching, I'm happy to throw your thoughts into the chat.
He gives you a great wide receiver and a hell of a safety. I think he's going to play safety. Would you say that's correct, or do you think wide receiver?
I think he's going to play safety. I don't know. Maybe there's a chance he'll play a little bit of both. Like, who knows? Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to be a Travis Hunter type, or whatever, but maybe there's a chance he could have, a role on both sides of the ball. Probably not. But yeah, I definitely think he's the number 1 ranked safety in the country. So unless he really wants to play receiver, I think that's where, I mean, this guy could be Caleb Downs, like, literally. That's what I mean. So if you want to talk about impacts and stuff like that, like, that's who this guy could be. And seeing Mitch, I do believe, Baker Steinfluer, that does sound like the last 5-star for Nebraska. So yeah, I just, you look at this 2027 class now, it's just really interesting because we've had a lot of people. I remember we had one fan who was a follower of ours who was like, oh, Nebraska's never going to compete with the SEC and teams like LSU because they're never going to sign big time players. But they've already got two commitments in the 2027 class that are ranked in the top 65. I mean, Tory Pittman is a 5-star. He's ranked 16th overall. And Trey Taylor's ranked 65th overall in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. So yeah, I think there's a very strong chance that Nebraska puts together a top 10 class. You look at this 2027 group, right? You've got a star on both sides of the ball kind of leading the way. And then, Matt Rule's got these guys to commit based off what? A 7-6 season, the Pinstripe Bowl championship. Like, if Nebraska goes out and wins 9 or 10 games this year, this 2027 class is going to be off the charts. And I wrote this for HuskerBigRed.com, but I think this is the start of the awakening of the sleeping giant that is Nebraska football.
I agree. And, I thought the 2023 class was, or 2024 class rather, was a landmark class. And I think 2027 could be even bigger. And when you look at this group, you have the guys that he was talking about. We always went back to the quote, like Matt Rule wants to compete with Ohio State and things like that. And we have a couple good commitments in the 2026 class, but we didn't have enough. Some thought we didn't have enough commitments overall, and now we already have 2 in the 2027 class that are bona fide playmakers and blue chip prospects. And I think this is where 2027 is where the big time recruiting is going to happen.
And yeah, future Coy Parrish, the Minnesota safety, definitely. I mean, very similar. Parrish 6'1", 200 pounds. Whereas Tory Pittman, I think, is 6 foot, 185 pounds right now is what he's listed at. So very similar. He had 5 interceptions last season. Tory Pittman, I think, had 3. He had over like 450 yards receiving. So yeah, that could be a good comparison. And then I want to get back to James made this point earlier. Thanks again for the comment, Co, and James also. Now with the 105-man roster limit, this should slow teams getting many good players. It's going to slow some of it. I think there'll be more players available, but it's just, the way I look at it, they'll churn out the bottom part of their rosters. You might see teams like Georgia and Alabama, and you might see some transfers, but the way I look at it, I really think you're going to see fewer impact players like in the transfer portal. I think you are still going to see teams like, Alabama and Georgia get the best recruits, and then they're going to hang on to them is what's going to happen. I do think you'll see less players leaving for the portal because, for all intents and purposes, I think you can probably play the same amount get paid the same amount at, most schools as from a rev share perspective, not with NIL in there. And Co was saying that so I think that's interesting. And I didn't realize he was playing wide receiver as well, so that's kind of a interesting comparison. But I do think that Tory Pittman is a guy that could play on both sides of the ball, and he is a dynamic return guy too. So he's like a bona fide 3-way player.
And you mentioned his size already, still a high schooler, and he's got a good frame to him, explosive athlete, big time playmaker. So, like we said, this 2027 class is shaping up to be something special. And, now that hopefully will entice other, big time playmakers to come to Lincoln as well.
Yeah, it was interesting. I happened on Friday to write, I was talking about Nebraska's next commitment because I thought it was going to be Matt Erickson. I just thought, that he's got a bunch of projections. He really likes Nebraska. He's visited like 8 times. He's visiting for a game this fall. So I thought, I bet Nebraska gets him to commit. And then bam, out of nowhere, Tory Pittman commits. So, I'm glad I was wrong on that prediction. I'm glad that it worked out how it did. Anyone in high school with that size and speed plays both sides. Yeah, for sure. Especially when you're that good, So we'll see what happens in college with him. It's just he's really dynamic with the ball in the air, and I think that's one of the things that makes me so excited about him as a defensive back is he has those skills at receivers, which a lot of them do. A lot of the guys that come to play defensive back in Nebraska also played receiver, but he really truly does have game-changing ability, and I think his ranking reflects that. Hopefully, we've seen some other Nebraska players not necessarily, lived up to that. So hopefully that won't be the case here with Tory Pittman. But I really think he's going to be. I just visualize him as that center field, that deep safety, kind of that eraser. That just basically erases every big play. Just that's he has the ability to cover up mistakes for cornerbacks. He can make break up plays on deep balls and play that center field role. But also, he's a really good tackler too, and he's got tremendous speed. He's a great jumper. I mean, he's really everything that you could want in a defensive back.
Third highest rated recruit in Nebraska history.
Interesting. Who are the top two?
Well, according to 24/7, Marlon Lucky's at the top, and then Dylan Raiola.
Okay. Yeah, and that's in the rankings era. So I mean, I think Tommy Frazier would be probably pretty high up there. Lawrence Phillips, there'd be some other guys, but yeah, that's interesting. So hopefully he lives up to that. I mean, Marlon Lucky was pretty good. I don't know if he lived up to being the greatest recruit, of all time. Yeah. It's interesting if you look at a lot of guys that sometimes it's getting better. I think you're seeing fewer misses out of like the rankings and the scouting people, but sometimes, man, when you look through like old rankings, you see some of the top ranked players in classes. It's like, well, these guys weren't that good.
Like Jimmy Clausen.
Yeah, a lot of guys like that. I mean,
I could name a couple guys.
I mean, how good was Baker Steinkuhler? I don't think he was. I mean, I think he was pretty solid, but
I mean, for college, he was solid, yeah, but not. I don't think he deserved that high ranking. He was good. He wasn't bad by any means, but I don't think he deserved that high ranking.
Yeah, I feel like Amon Green, I feel like Amon Green definitely would be like a top 50 player in today's rankings. Like if I was just projecting, I would say, I don't know if he would be a 5-star, but I think he'd be like a highly ranked 4-star recruit. He probably was in, back because they still have like Tom Lemming and there were still people doing rankings, like going back into the 80s, but it's hard to find some of that information.
I'm looking at some of the names in the 24/7 Sports era. We have Aaron Green, the running back. We have Tyjon Lindsey. We have Turner Corcoran.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Carter Nelson's on here. Jason Richenberger. Okay. It's just interesting when you look at the names.
It's not like a who's who of great players.
But there's a lot of Trey Taylor's on here, obviously. So I mean, there's a lot of incoming recruits with a lot of potential.
I feel like scouting and so they've gotten a lot. I think like the rankings have gotten a lot better, and part of that too is just they get to see these kids compete more against each other. I feel like kids go to a lot more of these national events, these Under Armour things, the 7-on-7. Yeah. So I think that it tends to more actual comparisons than just like, whoa, this guy's really good from the state of Pennsylvania, and we'll slot him here. I mean, I do think that high school ranking, like I would say, it's more difficult than like college to the NFL. You know what I mean? Just because you at least have a lot more, like sometimes you're and sometimes it's like 5A, but sometimes you could be watching a kid at like a 2 or 3A just dominating the competition. It's like, how do you quantify that? Because, like the competition could be really poor, but that doesn't mean he's not an elite player, but it'll also like, you kind of have to see him do it against elite teams too. And so I feel like some of the guys that were ranked lower in the past have gotten a chance to move up because they have gotten a chance at some of these national events to prove that they can do it.
Some of these names hard to read, just a lot of wasted potential.
These days, coaches are paying more attention to track times and results. Just look at Carter Nelson. Yeah. That's why Green would be highly sought after. His track times were excellent. Like Crouch. Yeah, I mean,
more value is being placed on two-sport athletes, I think.
Yeah, and I think track's always been important with football, but I do think, I think there is an emphasis on the numbers more, and just kind of meeting those measurables, right? So that's worth like like people ask me all the time, like in Montana, like with Matt Ludwig, they're like, oh, why is Michigan recruiting this guy, or why were all these schools recruiting this guy? It's like, well, he's 6'4", 250 pounds, and he runs the 100-meter dash in 11:10, barely, almost 11 flat. So how many people on earth do you think can do that at 6'4", 250 pounds? Like that's like like Tory Pittman, I think as a sophomore, as a freshman, he probably runs it faster now, but as a freshman, he ran it in 11.2. So, I mean, like, that's pretty incredible that you have a guy that's 6'4", 250 who's running that fast. Like, that's why it's he's ranked where he is, right? Because it's like, who cares? It doesn't really matter what he's doing against all these kids in Montana, but what could he be? He could be, there's not very many people who have that ability. So that's a big part of it too, is it's a projection.
Yeah.
Here is what Cosubs. I really thought Sean's comment yesterday saying how much money they paid for this offense this year, the better produce made it really sink in how much money was spent for this year's squad. Yeah, for sure. Though there's been a lot more spent on this year's squad, I think, than last year's squad. And you can see it. You can see it at the wide receiver. Like they didn't like last year, they went cheap at wide receiver and it showed. And this year they didn't do that. They went after one of the premier receivers in the SEC. They got another guy from an ACC program that had a really good first season. They went and paid for an offensive tackle who I don't know if he's going to start or not, but they went and paid for him. So they paid Emmett Johnson money to make sure that he didn't leave. They've got a lot of money spent on Dylan Raiola. I mean, let's not act like Dylan Raiola probably got a pay bump when, there were all those rumors about Miami and whatever. Like I know he posted that on social media, but he probably got like a bump in his NIL deal. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that happened, and that's fine. I'm glad Nebraska ponied up and kept him. Like that's what you got to do. Like if you want to have elite talent, you got to pay for it. And so Nebraska's finally, I think, starting to do that. That doesn't mean that they are going to have success this year, though, because how many teams have we? I didn't want to take that comment down too early. How many teams have we seen in the NFL or the NBA or whatever spend a bunch of money and then get absolutely nothing for it? Even Texas A&M in college football, they bought the number one recruiting class, and then 2 years later, Jimbo Fisher was fired. Now he's begging to get back into the game. So money doesn't necessarily mean success.
Jimbo Fisher kind of sucks. So there is that too.
I mean, he does kind of suck, but he did win a national championship at Florida State. So
I could have won a national championship with our roster.
They only had, I mean, that I don't know, Danny. They only had 52%. They had that roster that he won it with had the lowest percentage of blue chips of any in the last 15 years.
That defense was incredible.
It was good, but I'm just saying, like and Jameis Winston was the main reason that they won.
Yeah, but I feel like that Florida State roster was pretty good.
I mean, it was good, but I'm just saying, like in terms of where it ranks with the blue chips, the blue chip ratio, the percentage of blue chips, it was like fifth. I think it was the lowest of like the last 15 years. Maybe there went like Clemson might be higher, but it's one of 3 or 4 that was below 55%. And Michigan's right up there. Michigan's right up there because you know why? They had an elite quarterback, even though nobody wants to give JJ McCarthy credit for it. He was elite with a capital E.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Go turn on the Nebraska game, buddy. Go turn on the Nebraska game. He owned Nebraska. They absolutely dominated them that day.
What an accomplishment. What an accomplishment. That's never been done in the past 5 years, owning Nebraska as a quarterback.
I mean, they had a top 25 defense that year.
Aiden McManus owned Nebraska. Who the hell was the back?
Not like JJ McCarthy.
He still owned Nebraska. I was just sitting there, and I'm thinking of the Minnesota Aiden McManus, not the Rutgers Aiden McManus. But we make backup quarterbacks look like Joe Montana. Who was that guy? I forget. I think it might have been Illinois a couple of years ago. He came in and he just flung the ball all over the place, and we had no answer for it. I forget.
Yeah, I mean, during the Frost era for sure, but not as many teams have done that in the Rule era.
Well, yeah, you're right. Not as many teams, but
I mean, Shadur Sanders tore us up in 2023. Shadur Sanders tore us up.
Okay, I was gonna say last year Shadur Sanders did not tear us up. We did a lot better, but in 2023 he did.
Yeah, 2023 tore us up. JJ tore us up in 2023.
You know
who else did? I Minnesota scored 13 on us. Iowa barely scored. Wisconsin didn't do much. Maryland, we lost. Maryland, we gave up 10. Maryland, we stopped, or not Tua, but whatever his name is.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I hate, but yeah, he didn't do anything against us.
Who's actually playing arena football in Massachusetts right now?
Yeah, and so I'm trying to think who else we even lost to that year. I know there was some heartbreaking losses because that's Nebraska.
I'm gonna look that up right now, but we had a tendency to make backup quarterbacks look pretty good.
So Mitch, the backup QB battle is getting really interesting. I hope Jalen G keeps number 2. I don't want Latif burning his red shirt. I mean, I don't think he's going to. I really do. I mean, that's the thing is, like, even if he's the backup, they just have to be smart about when they put him in. It's like, my point is this, though. I would say that, like, do we think that Jalen Granstad really has the talent, though, to win like a Big Ten game? Like, if we're playing like a legitimate team, because that's my thing is, like, TJ Latif at least has the talent. Like, he can at least go out there. Like, he's an elite 11 quarterback. So I get what you're saying, Mitch, and I don't want to ever have to use the backup quarterback unless we're in garbage time, like dominating people. But yeah, I don't think Latif will burn his red shirt. I think he'll play in 4 games and, maybe a bowl game if we aren't in the playoff or something. But I get what you're saying. I do think, though, if there's a situation where like Dylan's going to miss time, like, I don't even want to say it, but like extended like a chunk of the season, then I think there's a chance we might see TJ Latif.
We lost to Caden Hauser in 2023, so there you go.
Yeah, but what kind of game did he have, though? I mean, that's because we had Heinrich.
That's how kind of meh the defense was that year. He went
that game was because Heinrich Harbeck had like 4 interceptions. That was the Michigan State game. We also should have won that game.
He went 13 to 20 for 165 and a touchdown.
That's who? The Michigan State guy?
Yeah, Caden Hauser.
Yeah, that's not great. So, no. I mean, so JJ McCarthy and Shadur Sanders are the 2 guys that tore us up that year. And what about last year? The guy from Luke Altmaier.
Yeah.
And Will Howard, I wouldn't say even. Will Howard had a good 4th quarter.
Ethan Garbers did. I remember that because I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, he did. Mostly, a lot of running. Which that's the thing that worries me about the Michigan game is it's the running of Bryce Underwood. That's the thing that really does worry me.
Well, if this was Tony Watt, I'd be worried. But now that John Butler's taking over, I'm not as worried. But we'll see.
We'll see, because I mean, I don't know. I mean, running quarterbacks are they're hard for any defense to deal with. Like that's just, because you got everything planned, and then it's like, even if you spy a guy, it's like, well, cool. We don't have any linebacker that's anywhere close to being an athlete that Bryce Underwood is. He's 6'4", 228, runs a 4. It's like, it's just quarterbacks who can run like that are hard to deal with.
Curtis Rourke didn't even tear us up last year. It was their stupid running back. I'm looking at the stats now, and then Taven Jackson came in 7 to 8, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. So.
If Latif plays 5 games this year, he's in the portal next year. He's not sitting 2 years behind. Well, I mean, I think that's what's going to happen anyways. Like he's not going to unless I don't see TJ Latif probably being the starting quarterback here. I mean, maybe if he does sit around, but I don't think the number of games he plays this year is going to matter one way or another. Honestly, to him entering the portal, it's going to be where he would enter the portal. I think is because say Dylan leaves. I mean, Dylan has to have he needs to have 2 really good seasons to leave next year. Like right now, I'll say this. I thought he would be farther in his development, last year. Like I'll admit that I was slightly disappointed in him last year. I thought he was going to have a bigger impact. I thought he would be I thought right now more people would be talking about him. It's like an NFL pick. And I don't think that right now, if you're looking at his quarterback class, I don't know that you would be like, yeah, this guy's a first rounder. Like, I think he has work to do. So we'll see how this season plays out. But if he does have the kind of season we think he can have, then probably he's going to be leaving in the draft. Like if he has 2 really good years, he's probably leaving in the draft after next season. So then you'd be going into 2027. That's where TJ Latif would win the job. I don't think Trey Taylor's going to come in here and start right away. I just don't see that happening. I know he's great, but that's just, you have to be really, really, really elite to do that and be successful. And I don't think you want him coming in here and starting right away. So, if you can keep Latif here, it would be great to have him for, a year or 2. And then, Trey Taylor, I think that's ideal, but that's also probably not going to happen.
Dayton Rayola looked pretty good the other night. Speaking of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I certainly don't think he looked like the 96th best quarterback in the 2026 class, which is where he's ranked. Right. I mean, I don't know why they did this, but 24/7 Sports and somebody, they're like, well, we're just going to say everybody's a 3-star. Like if it would have been, in the past, he would have been a 2-star recruit, Dayton Rayola, right now.
Yeah.
So that seems kind of crazy to me, but and then this was a Luke Altmaier, so we're kind of going through different topics here. So let's see. I wouldn't burn his red shirt either in terms of this is in reference to Latif. Redshirt freshman next year, challenging to be a starter, so that's I mean, I do think Trey can be in that mix, but maybe Trey is one of the special guys that could do it. I think he does have the talent. It's just, I don't know that we want him starting right away, but I mean, hey, Bryce Underwood's doing it. Dylan's doing it. Maybe he will be good enough to do it.
And so one of the things that I thought was funny that happened yesterday too, honestly, was the outrage over the back in black uniforms for one game against USC in November. Oh boy.
Oh, was there outrage? I saw that. Yeah, I think I got to that announcement a little bit late. So, but yeah, I saw one former player that said he like was sick of, didn't like it, but I can't remember who it was. An offensive lineman. But yeah, what was the reaction? I didn't notice it that much.
The silver hairs on Facebook were all up in arms because it strayed away from tradition. And they were mad at the players. A lot of them were for not focusing on winning with this uniform announcement. And I got a lot of stop worrying about the uniforms and start focus on winning. So I hate to inform them that they're probably not going to a Big Ten school to play dress up, and they probably are pretty focused on this upcoming football game. That's just a guess, but yeah. So I thought it was hilarious because it's straight away from tradition, and that right there, folks, is why Nebraska fans get the reputation for being very stuck in their ways.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I could see maybe if it was an entire season, then fans could be upset, but one game and it caused a national outcry.
That's funny. Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, I think they're sweet. I think they're awesome. Yeah, see, I didn't get I posted mine not quite as quick as yours, so I didn't get as many comments. So that's funny because most of the people on mine were positive about it. I had one or two, but
I got 3,000 likes and 586 shares and 700 comments about how it was bad.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm like, come on, people. The only tradition we got away from was winning. Yeah, true.
Yeah, gotta say, I could care less. I hate it. They did have some uniforms that I thought were horrible, but black looks cool. Black always looks cool.
It's for the black shirts.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I just think black looks cool. I think almost every program could pull off a black uniform. I mean, it just looks cool. Like black, just have your helm, have your color, as the stripe or whatever. Like, and kids like it. So and they're doing it for the blackout game against USC. Like, God, it's something that's going to be fun. And yeah, that's the thing that drives me crazy too, and is just you have to focus on winning and you have to do this. Well, you can't be like. There's a point where you can get to where you can try too hard at something, right? Like you have to still be relaxed. Like you can't be there is such a thing as trying too hard, so like just take a deep breath, man. Like this photo shoot and these uniforms are going to have zero impact on how many games Nebraska wins one way or another. We're not going to beat anybody because we're wearing them, and we're not going to lose to anybody because we're wearing them. Like outside of the jinx factor, like the Notre Dame green that they always wear. Like I do believe in those sort of things, but not really in this situation. So I shouldn't even said that. Why did I even say that? Anyways, moving on. How did they pick the USC game for the black uniforms? I don't know. I think they're trying to make it like a night game. It's got to be a night game if you're going to wear the black uniforms like that. And you don't really see, with it being USC, that has to either be like a 2:30 game or like a 6:30 game, because they never really make the West Coast teams play super early.
USC at night would be so cool.
And that's what I was thinking. Like, that's why I picked. I know that's going to be tough, but that game, like even before this announcement was made, like, because I do think Nebraska is going to beat Michigan. And so by the time they get to that USC game, I think we could be undefeated. And you got the black uniforms. If it's at night, Lincoln Memorial Stadium will be rocking like it hasn't, like that might be as loud that night as it's been since like the Miami game. Like it's gonna, like if this Nebraska team's undefeated and if USC is pretty good and like we have like we're actually playing a game in November, like for playoff football. I know that's a lot. I'm just saying, like hypothetically, like that stadium will be as loud as we've maybe ever heard it. And
Colorado was pretty loud. That's the loudest like I've probably ever heard it. But I think this would be a different level.
It was loud, but yeah, I think it would be a different level just because of the stakes and like there would be just like it feels like true, not like, oh, maybe next year we can be good, or oh, maybe if like this and this and this happens, we could somehow have a chance to make the playoff. Like, no, it would be like we win this game and we're in the driver's seat, like to not only make the playoff but have a chance to win the Big Ten, right? Like we could be undefeated going to UCLA, or even if we have like one loss. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think that could be a really special day in Nebraska football.
It's exciting to think about, isn't it?
it is exciting to think about. But then I also, I also thought the 2021 team was going to win a bunch of games, and I thought last year we were going to win more games. And so, let's see. Mitchell again, as if these kids are going to not focus on winning because they're excited about a uniform. These are men. These men are men, paid professionals, not 8th grade girls. Yeah. Exactly. Well said, Mitch. I got you. Yeah, like
they're being paid by 8th grade girls, and we might have another issue at the university, but yeah.
Hey, if 8th grade girls can generate the sort of NIL money that it takes to keep these guys, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do it. Girl Scout cookies, maybe. Anyway,
I love Girl Scout cookies.
We won't. No, I do believe that we are going to end that that freaking losing streak against ranked teams.
Does Colorado count at all? Or no?
It has to. They have to be ranked when you beat them. So, but I think that's going to end against Michigan. September.
Yeah, Michigan will probably be ranked.
Well,
Michigan is already ranked, but
yeah, they're ranked 14th right now. But I don't know. I think they'll beat Oklahoma. I don't think
Michigan's always ranked. Like, quite honestly, some years I don't even think they deserve to be ranked. But it seems like they're always ranked. Like last year, weren't they ranked like 21st to start off the year?
No, I mean they were ranked pretty high, but they were the national champions. So,
and see, this is why I don't believe in preseason rankings, because FSU was ranked 10th last year, and then they fell flat really quick. I feel like they should come up with a different system for preseason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they need. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they need preseason rankings. And I'm like, why do we even have the AP and coaches poll rankings? We should just get rid of them. But I mean, they're popular for fodder and whatever.
Yeah.
But But no, I agree. Why do we need rankings? Why do we should have the first rankings should come out on October 1st or something, and then it should be like the playoff committee should like set the rankings much earlier. Like that's what I think. I don't know why we're waiting till. I mean, I guess it wouldn't make that much sense after the non-conference, but maybe just don't have any rankings till like week 6 and start, like when teams have played like 6 or 7 games, then the committee can put out their first set of rankings and everybody knows they're early. It's not like they're not going to change, but I feel like that the AP poll and the coaches poll still shape the narrative too much.
Yeah, absolutely, especially when it comes to, quite frankly, the SEC and Big Ten.
Let's see. I think the final rankings should matter more than the ranking at the time they played. The final ranking is the final result, not where random people rank.
I feel like the rankings should start to be shaped like maybe first week in November, and then take it from there. Because that way you have like, let's see, what is it, 7 weeks to like analyze the opponents and like the schedule they played. And by that point, you're in the conference. You've obviously done away with the non-conference games. So maybe beginning of November is where you start to put, like, they shouldn't even have like regular season rankings at that point. By the beginning of November, they should just start with the college football playoff rankings, call them those, and analyze the schedule based off of, what they've done by the beginning of November.
Yeah. And Mitch, so maybe he's saying, if they beat a team that was, even if they weren't ranked at the time, I guess you should still get credit for a top 25 win, which you still somewhat do, but I guess just the record is, playing the team at the time. So in terms of breaking that specific record, they do need to be ranked when we're playing them. So if Michigan loses to Oklahoma, will they still be ranked? Potentially. I feel like they're going to win that game though, but I know it's going to be close, but I mean, I don't know if Oklahoma's going to be that great. They added a running back from Cal and a QB from Washington State. I know those guys are good, but I don't know if to me, like, I don't know why Oklahoma's ranked. I like the coaches didn't even rank them, and the AP polls got them like 18th. And it's like
the schedule, I think, has a lot to do with that. Their schedule is ridiculous. So I think they're leaving room in case they win to automatically bump them up, which I'm not saying is right, but I think it's based off of schedule.
I think a lot of it too is like I said, like the Washington State kid that transferred there, which maybe is really good.
Like, yeah, he is good.
But we'll see. I mean, it's still, he played at Washington State. How's he going to do in the SEC? So, but yeah, if Michigan loses to Oklahoma, they might be ranked. We'll see. I don't know. It just depends how that game goes. I would say if it's a really close game, they're ranked 14th right now. They'd probably be like 23rd or something. I doubt they would fall out of the top 25, but maybe.
It's certainly going to be interesting by the time Michigan gets to Nebraska, that's for sure.
But from a Nebraska perspective, I honestly would rather I'd rather them probably win that game. I don't know. I just always worry about teams that like are desperate for a win, and if Michigan loses to that Oklahoma game, they're just gonna be more desperate for a win than, I don't know. That's probably overthinking it too much, but sometimes I would rather play a team off a win than off of a loss. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Probably doesn't matter that much though. Will Nebraska run up the score on teams if they are able to, or will Rule take his foot off the gas early in the second half? I mean, I don't think he's going to take his foot off the gas because you just can't do that in the Big Ten. Like, you got to be, like, in my opinion, you got to be up by like 4 touchdowns, like late in the second half before you can take your foot off the gas. Like, to me, even a 31-3 lead in like the third quarter you can't take it's just not safe. Like, I don't, like, you can start playing a different way. And sure, if I have like guys hurt, I might sub them out, but this conference is way too good to ever take your foot off the gas. So I really don't see that happening. I don't think Rule's going to sit there and I don't think he's going to try to score a ton of points, but I do think he's going to pay attention to margin of victory. And I do think he said I think if he gets the chance though, like he talked about it last year, what is the committee like? Teams that win lots of games and score lots of points. So I do think he's gonna. I'm not going to say he's going to try to be running up the score, but I don't see him taking the foot off the gas. I don't see Dana Holgorsen taking his foot off the gas. And
I was going to say it also helps when you don't have Marcus Satterfield.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think Raiola's going to want to take his foot off the gas either. I think Dylan Raiola is going to have more autonomy this year in the offense, and I think he's probably earned some of that. And so it's like, no, if those guys are out there, they're going to try to score, and they're going to try to score as much as they can. And why not? And that's the thing, because unfortunately, margin of victory does matter. Like it just does. And if you beat a team 20-10, or if you beat a team 34-10, it just matters. Especially if you're playing teams that aren't ranked and stuff. If you're playing somebody that's ranked, it maybe doesn't matter as much. But if you're beating Northwestern 13-10 and someone else beats them 40-10, like, yeah, that matters. It absolutely does.
I believe we actually beat Northwestern 13-10 in 2023. I have the schedule up here right now.
I think it was 20-10.
Or was it?
I think we beat them, but it was close. But I think that's the game where Malachi caught that touchdown in the fourth quarter and kind of pushed the lead out.
We're gonna see Malachi this year, maybe.
Yeah, probably. If you want a 1,000-yard receiver, 1,500-yard Emmett, you got to play them. Yeah, you got to give them their chances. Yeah, for sure. Holgorsen going to try to score points. He wants to be a head coach too. Absolutely. And yeah, teams want to see people score points. Like, players want to play for teams that score. It's fun to score points. It's fun to get in the end zone. They don't want to play for a team that scores 20 points a game. I'm sorry, they just don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you only scoring 2 touchdowns a game. It's just not as fun.
Somehow Iowa does it.
Yeah, Iowa does. Yeah, for sure. But doesn't sound like Dana's the head coach of the offense. Yeah, I agree with all that. I don't think that Dana's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be situations where they're going to try to run the ball and keep their guys healthy and, get out of there and all that type of stuff. But they're going to try to score. Like, they're not going to. And you should, man. You're playing the game. You put in your game plan. These kids want to play, and you should give your other kids a chance to play too. Like, kids practice every week, and they put in a lot of work for the chance to play. And just because the other team, isn't playing as well or isn't, that doesn't mean you shouldn't throw the ball or whatever. Like, kids deserve the opportunity to go show what they can do.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see it. Just depends, like, and like, my thing is like, NFL OC is kind of a good gig because you can get paid a lot of money, but it's also like there's a lot of high turnover in that position. So, and does his offensive system really translate that well to the NFL? I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be running the air raid this year, the run and shoot, but can he?
There you go. I like that.
That was. They did run that in the NFL for a while. What's his face? Not Jeff. June Jones. That's what I'm thinking of. June Jones. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Rule is all about time of possession. No, in the second half, yeah. I mean, he said one of the big stats that he really views is number of run plays in the fourth quarter, because if you're got a lot of run plays in the fourth quarter, you obviously have the lead, right? So fourth quarter run plays. I mean, I do think you're going to see more runs with Nebraska when they have the lead, but I don't think they're going to be shy about, potentially taking a play action pass and whatever, taking some shots down the field. I do think that Rule will take more of like, I don't think you're going to see Nebraska score 50 points a time. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'll keep it relatively more like a pro style system.
Yeah. Ives returned yesterday to full contact. That's certainly big because then that just adds more depth to the running back room, and I'm hoping for a big year from him.
Yeah, and they still need more. I still worry about the running back room. So you need as many bodies as you can get in there, and I do have high hopes for Mosey, but again, it's like he's not played college running back. It's a whole different animal, especially when you're talking about pass protection and all those other things. So I do think that Quentin Ives has a role to play in this backfield.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, any other, we haven't, thanks for pitching in on the chat so much today, guys. It's a lot fun. It's a lot more fun when you guys are so interactive. We don't have to carry the conversation ourselves so much, although I do talk quite a bit, so whatever.
You do, but I mean, I kind of like listening to you, and I don't tune you out like I do my mother. So there you go. I mean, you should consider that a blessing.
75 rushing yards in the fourth quarter. That would be sweet. Yeah, who's excited for volleyball today? We've got old volleyball.
I am, although I wish I could watch it. I'm getting into volleyball more now because I think this team is going to be good. I've been covering a little bit more volleyball over on Cornhuskers Wire and been learning a little bit about the players. Like I just didn't know enough about college volleyball. It wasn't like I didn't want to watch it. So I've been trying to learn a little bit more. I don't know all the rules yet. I'm getting all the players' names and stuff. I mean, it's pretty easy. They're household names with Nebraska, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the season, and a lot of the games are on like the Big Ten Network and stuff. So
yeah, and that's like it's fun that they, I think they play 11 ranked teams or something this year, so you get some really high profile matchups. So that does make it fun. Like, they play Creighton, a lot of fun rivalry games this year, so that'll be cool. Yeah, Nebraska Public Media, I believe, will have the match tonight, and then next weekend, man, we'll have some. I think Pittsburgh and Stanford, I believe, is who they're playing next weekend. So,
volleyball for dummies. Who is the volleyball team's biggest rival? Like, is it the same as football? Like, or is it something?
Well, I would say, it's kind of interesting. It's been probably Wisconsin because they were kind of the dominant team before.
Yeah, they're really good. I know that. I know Wisconsin's really good too.
Yeah, so Wisconsin's right there. It might be Penn State this year just because they beat us a couple times last year. So they beat us in a match at Happy Valley that made us split the Big Ten championship. So we had some difficulties with them last year, and then they may have knocked us out of the Final Four. I don't want to think about that too much, so I don't quite remember who they lost to. It just was kind of a blur. I think it was Penn State, though.
It was.
So I would say Penn State is probably like they probably have replaced Wisconsin, but Penn State and Wisconsin are probably the two biggest rivals, along with Creighton, I would say. Iowa is, of course, still our rival, but we just pound them every time, so it's not really much of a matchup.
And then is UCLA and USC any good at volleyball?
UCLA is ranked this year, yeah, so they're pretty good. Okay. Oregon's had a pretty solid team, so yeah, they definitely, I think, add to that strength. But the Big Ten in volleyball is kind of similar to what it is in wrestling. It's very dominant. So they're not going to win the championship every year, but they've won quite a few. Wisconsin, or at least they have a team in the Final Four just about every season, sometimes multiple.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna definitely watch that one. I don't know why I haven't watched it more, and I know the fans really, really love it, and so I'll post more about it. I know Chris does a great job of his volleyball coverage. So, but yeah, no, I'm just learning. I got into baseball a couple of years ago, and baseball is hard to watch because they're not exactly always on TV either. But I follow the box scores and listen on the radio and stuff. So.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I do the same thing with them and the softball team. So yeah, the volleyball it's at least nice, and the TV people have started realizing that volleyball is pretty popular. So
Yeah, I do remember seeing like big matches on ESPN, so that's good. And of course, the game at Memorial 2 years ago now. Wow, I can't believe it's 2 years ago. But that certainly brought attention to it, which is really cool.
yeah, so it'd be fun to have a match like that against like a really good team, because I can't remember who they played, but it wasn't you knew Nebraska was going to win the match. Like I'd love to see them play like a Penn State or somebody in that atmosphere, which I know is like kind of risky because you don't want to lose that matchup, but like I think that would be freaking sweet to
I wouldn't put
actually
it past
play.
Troy Dannon. He seems very forward thinking.
Yeah, and he's been talking about playing, more games at the Vault with volleyball. So I think that would make a lot of sense. I think they would pack that place.
I've heard the debate I was just gonna say I've heard the debate where people said it would be hard for the Vault to sell for volleyball, but I don't think so.
I really don't think that it would be. I don't know, maybe, but I mean, it seems like they turned quite a few people away. So
yeah, I don't think it would be that hard to sell it either. I mean, I know basketball hasn't necessarily been the greatest collectively over the past couple of years, and they still pack the house pretty well. Basketball is like a different sport, but still, the fans show. If you bring a sport to Nebraska, the fans will show up.
So Coast says, I'm curious how many games last year they ran for 75 yards in the fourth quarter. Probably none was what Mitch's comment was. In his time waiting for our answer, did a little bit of research, and according to AI, Nebraska only averaged 3.2 yards per carry last year in the fourth quarter, which sounds about right, honestly.
Yeah,
maybe the Wisconsin game, I feel like they had some good rushing plays in the fourth quarter with like Emmett Johnson.
Northern Iowa, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they struggled in the second half. Remember, they like barely scored in the second half of that game.
Yeah, so, I'm blaming that on Marcus Satterfield. Colorado, we got zip. Colorado, we're lucky we got off so hot.
Yeah, Colorado, that game could have been a little scarier if the defense didn't play so well, because it was like, that second. I don't know if we got a field goal like the first drive in the second half, and that basically was it.
Yeah,
we still won by a lot, but still,
it's because should have quit. But anyway,
and then Illinois, obviously, we didn't run the ball great in the fourth quarter. Although we were in field goal range to win, but of course we missed it. So
yeah,
that was actually my day job is I work for a newspaper, and so I cover high school football, and so of course it was on a Friday night, so I was doing my job at covering high school football. But I have two phones, and so I record because I take video of like every high school play. So I record
burner phone so you can keep yourself away from the fans, keep your information private.
No, I just have I just have my work and then my I just have my work phone and my personal phone. But so I use one to record video of the game that I'm, writing about or whatever, and the other one I stream the Nebraska game. So
that's smart.
When John Hall missed that kick, I chucked my phone so hard. But it landed on grass. So I mean, I knew I was safe doing it, which was kind of fun, but I was just that made me so mad. Anyway.
I saw that 25% of Nebraska games this year will not be on a Saturday.
That's wild. That's wild. But yeah, I guess because that's 3 out of 12. So you got the 2 Friday games and the Thursday game,
which kind of stinks for high school football, but that's okay.
Yeah,
I guess
it is.
And recruiting wise, it stinks because none of the recruits can go because they'll be playing a game.
Yeah, and you don't get your visit time on Saturday. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many recruits they host this year. I don't think we're going to see as many game day visitors as we have in the past. Like still probably double digits, but there was times when there was like 50. I don't think we'll see that anymore.
They've done their build. They've built the foundation. Now they got to move the furniture in the house, so to speak.
And they aren't going to be, kind of like the preferred walk-ons and a lot of the guys that they would bring on campus to, get them in the program later, as part of the walk-on program. They're not going to be recruiting a lot of those guys anymore. So that's just, it's unfortunate, but that's the way that college football has gone. And yeah, it's kind of a bummer. And sometimes it makes me wish we could go back to the pre-playoff era, the BCS era, or even the Bowl Alliance era. Sometimes I think
BCS era, but with a different system besides the BCS.
Yeah. I mean, The 4 team was good. Maybe 12 teams might be too much. Honestly, the more I think about it, 12 teams just might be too much. Because like by the time you get through to it, it's like, do people even care? Like I didn't even care that much last year. I just, as a Michigan fan, I didn't really want Ohio State to win. Like barring that, I don't know that I would have cared like at all who
Well,
won
it
the
was a
championship
2-week
or
break,
even
and it was
watched it.
mid-January before the season even finished. We were almost in February, for crying out loud.
Yeah, like it's just it goes to like I think they need to start it earlier. They had this
Not to mention the
idea
game was
that
at 9 p.m. on a Monday, which, playoff error or not, has always been one of my biggest gripes. They shouldn't make it at like 9 p.m. on a Monday. I'm sorry.
do they pay recruits to come to these games? I honestly don't know anymore, because like maybe they do. Technically it's an unofficial visit, a game day visit. So like the team can pay for some of their stuff and they can pay for like meals and stuff, but they're like players are supposed to be, for the most part, they're supposed to be paying for, like for their own travel and things like that on these visits. But like I don't know if they, like with the way the NIL and things work anymore at the high school level, like they could be paying these guys to come to games. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So it's just it's such a different world anymore. It'd be nice to just ask one of these recruits that, hey, did you get paid for unofficial? Like it'd be nice to have just like a one-on-one session with the recruit and like not even like, I'm not going to publish any of this, but I just want to get your perspective on it and how this all works and whatever. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts from this past week? I mean, I was going to try to talk some position battles, but we didn't get much time to do that because we kind of just had some great interaction here today. But have you heard much on the left tackle position? Where do you?
No, I haven't yet. And quite honestly, I don't expect it to be decided until maybe next week.
Yeah, I believe what Raiola said, he would make the decision the week of the game, or we might not even know till the game starts. I still think they're going to play both guys. Like I just, especially for those first few weeks, and then maybe once we get into the Michigan game, that's where they make a decision.
You could tell Donovan Raiola does not like doing press conferences.
Yeah, I mean, he's an lineman, so
yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to check it. There's just so many gray area codes, but yeah, we'll have to figure that out or try to.
We could definitely try to get Tory Pittman maybe while he's still in high school. High school kids are a lot easier to interview. You don't have to go through all the compliance and stuff.
Yeah. So that we should try to get him and some other guys on here. So, all right, you guys. Well, about wrap it up here as we're reaching about 7 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock Danny's time, and 8 o'clock if you live in the Nebraska area. So thanks to everybody who hung out with us during episode 6 of Coffee Big Red, coffee with Husker Big Red, excuse me. Good Lord, need some more coffee.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're watching on the replay and you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications on. We have a lot of great content. We'll have even more coming as the season gets closer. So thanks for everybody for hanging out. Enjoy the alumni volleyball match. And we are 12 days away from the start of the season, 13 days away. So go Big Red, baby.
Go Big Red.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys.